What up, what up, what up? Episode 76 coming at you next with Shan Twit. Man, I've watched Sean for a long time on Instagram. He's one of those guys who kind of seemed like, and this is not a knock, he just seemed like he would be someone that wouldn't ever want to come on this podcast because I'm a ding dong ne'er do well. I'm a nobody. But man, we've got some mutual friends, and I really feel like we had a great conversation today. I learned a lot about him as a human being and him as a hunter. And we talked, about growing up hunting in Wisconsin, and then kind of taking his life elsewhere, and professional things, and how personal pastimes kind of correlate to the hunting lifestyle, and being disciplined and setting goals and surrounding yourself with good people. And I just feel like it was such a great conversation. He's very inspiring. I definitely could have talked to him a lot longer. But anyway, I had a great conversation with Sean today, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this podcast coming up next. We'll talk to y'all later. See ya.
And I have the option to get the site, or pick a site that's on Hoyt.com. I actually don't like them. So I've been an HHA guy for 27, 28, 29 years, and if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Well, then this about a month and a half ago, you know, some people I respect, have including one of the guys on the team has been using dialed site, and they went with the new. I think there's this. It's a different the dial proof site is what I ordered,
Oh
and I
yeah.
couldn't think of it. And I get it, and I took about a month to get here. I get the site, and which it's like it's made in-house. I mean, like a month really. By the time I got it, it was like there's 3 days left of turkey season, and I didn't have time to sight it in. And then when I did sight it, I shot I combined four arrows. The first three were a little bit low, so I decided to take it off the middle Picatinny mount, lower it to the bottom pick mount, and then I tightened it down, and like the pick mount cracked, like a crack, like the aluminum, like, and it's really narrow where it clamps down on the pick mount in the front of your riser, right? And so there's not a lot of room between the actual mount clamp on the edges and then where the bolt tightens down, right? So on all of them, and I tightened it down 3 times, and it went, and I'm like, whoa, and it got loose, and it was like, I gotta send this back. And now the thing is, just like with the golf clubs, you have to be confident with your gear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sure it's awesome. I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's an improvement from last year's model. Yeah, all the boxes are checked. Cool. I want to send it back anyway. And I'm gonna go back to HHA because if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
You aren't obligated to use it.
No, I can choose any site that I want. And so I've been an HHA guy. I'm like, I
Yeah.
probably always will be. And so yeah, it's a confidence thing, man. I'm sure I mean, I could have just bought a lemon, whatever, but I sent it back. I'm like,
Do you feel that way about your bow too? Like, even though you
yeah,
were able to pick a bow, like, do you feel like, do I have to?
yes. Yeah, I mean, I shot the RX-9 last year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. No hand shock. It's carbon. It's my first carbon bow ever. I've always been an aluminum guy, but I was like, whoa, this is like the Ferrari of bows. Solid back wall, smooth, all the boxes checked. It was great. And I'm nervous now to shoot this new bow. It's the Alpha AX3, and it
Mm-hmm.
looks cool. It looks pimp, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be comfortable with it. I don't know. That's right.
Yeah, no, that's funny.
Shit.
It's interesting when you get into the realm of sponsors and shooting a particular brand. You almost you wonder, do I have to keep up with everybody else? Do I need to keep up with the Joneses? Do I need to get a new one like everybody else getting a new one? But the ability to shoot what you like, even being still in the Hoyt family, is a really nice option.
It is. I mean, my first bow, God, it was a Carroll Marauder by PSC. Just old school bow. Shot a bunch of deer with it, and then I had a Bowtech Tribute, one of the good Bowtechs. Like the new ones I guess are really amazing too. But there was a few years there where it's like, man, it wasn't what wasn't their best.
Yeah.
They didn't leave with their best foot forward. But the Bowtech Tribute, man, I mean, a solid bow. Had a Hoyt CRX. Matthews V3, and Matthews Halon, but then I've been a Hoyt guy for a long time too. But I mean, they're all like the top 3, 4 brands. I mean, even Prime. I mean, they're all really the manufacturers have lost their mind as far as prices. I mean, we all have in this world, right? Everything. Look at a brand new
That's a
pickup truck,
fact. Yeah.
but it's like, I mean, they're all splitting hairs. I mean, you shoot the top 4 or 5 bows, you're like, I mean, I kind of feel a difference, but they're all light and accurate and smooth and fast, right? I mean, it's all personal preference.
100%. I had a relatively entry level bow so I had lived here and moved away and then came back and bought sort of an entry level bow thinking I was going to get back into bow hunting. And then after
Yeah.
I realized this is what I'm going to do, I stepped it up and got a Matthews and I'm like, oh, I can definitely feel the quality difference going from a relatively entry level bow. It ships ready to hunt, one of those deals. But being able to get a Matthews and get the stuff on it, it just feels so much different in my hand.
100%. They're all good, but they're all slightly different. The
That's true.
grip is different. The back wall is different. How much it lunges forward or not. Um, and on paper, everything can be the same. The riser length, the brace height, the axle, your draw length, all that on paper can be this quote same, but it's not. It's a feel thing, and it is all different, but it's all close. It's not like, whoa, shooting a recurve versus like a
Sure.
compound. It's not that kind of different, but it's different enough and it's subtle, but you pick up on that when you've shot a lot,
Are you a big guy?
um I'm 5'9", about 175.
It's hard to tell on camera. I just was curious because my next question is, have you ever shot a carbon bow?
Yeah, well, yeah, the RX-9 from the
Oh, it
Hoyt last
is.
year.
Oh, that's a
Yeah, it is.
carbon.
Yeah,
I don't think I knew
yeah,
that. Okay.
yeah.
Some
Do we have time for me to get a glass of water quick?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be right back. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
So yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Oh, the reason I was asking that is I have thought about it, but then I've heard somebody talk about how light they are and they move around a lot. And as somebody who struggles with over gripping that front hand, I've been concerned with the lightness of them. I would love the feel, I think, but I would be concerned a little bit with that. You never felt like that at all?
um, a little bit, but it's not like a big factor. What I mean, it's not
Sure.
like a game changer. Look something up here real quick. Um, yeah, I like your podcast, though, man. I like
Oh,
the way you guys
thanks.
are going.
Thanks.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
tricky
good
market,
stuff.
dude. Like I'd love for it to have enough. So listen, I don't want to get to a point where actually let me rephrase this. I would love to do this full time. I would 100% like to quit my job and do this full time. But it's good. It seems almost insurmountable to do that. It's a tricky space because there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of guys that are doing a really great job. And that's
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. I just like creating a thing. Like it could be anything. It used to be barn doors. It used to be, it used to be lots of things. I build for a profession. I like to create this. I'd love if it brought in some money to offset my hunting costs because I do like to travel. I like to go out of state. I like to do all the things and buy those expensive out of state non-resident tags. I would love for it to get to that point, but it's such a tricky thing. I can't seem to break down the barrier. I can't get enough ears. I can't get enough eyeballs on the videos. I just can't get that threshold. It's slow. It's very slow to grow. I just can't figure out a way to break it down. Like I don't want to just do hunting tips and strategy all year long. I want to talk to Shan Twit. I want to learn about
Yeah,
you. I want to talk about your
yeah,
profession. Like I want to learn about the
sure.
people that are doing the things that I also love to do. And I don't know that there's that much of a market for it. There's a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny because I have a friend of mine. I'm not going to name his name. It's not important, but he has a YouTube channel that doesn't produce the best videos. The quality of the audio, like everything. But he had this one video that had like 1.5 or 2 million views. I'm like, I'm sorry, how
Whoa.
many views did you say your video? It was something ridiculous too, and it always is. Trying to figure out the quote algorithm,
Yeah.
mystery is like you can't.
Yep.
And but it only takes one or two like videos or
Yeah.
guests or whatever to like blow up, and all of a sudden everybody's coming out of the woodwork and like you're like this, like, I hate the word celebrity, but you kind of are. And it's like, but but really, did you look at the other 45 podcasts I did? They were all amazing, right?
Yeah.
And only
Or some
now
were
you're
bad.
saying like I'm right. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
um it's my sister's a realtor down in Florida, and she's been busting her ass for 20 plus years now. And now in the last 4 or 5 years has she really broken out into that really high level. She's still the same go-getter. She's empathetic, sympathetic, hardworking, punctual, follows up with birthdays, markets for other businesses, helps do like showcase videos for other, businesses in Sarasota, Florida. And only now, after like 18 plus years, is she now in that like upper tier. And it's like, oh, it happened overnight, but like it never happens overnight. It was
No.
it was almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And if you go back, I mean, do people actually go back and look at her other stuff that she's created? Probably not. Just the most recent, because everyone's attention span nowadays is like it's like 7 to 10 seconds. You have people, and if you don't grab them at less than 10 second time frame, they're out.
Yeah.
They're just, and it's where society is today, I guess.
It
I don't
really
know.
truly is. It's tricky. You try to find that right algorithm in Instagram and the stories and the reels. You try to do it on TikTok or YouTube, and you try to get that little clip that grabs everybody's attention. And it's so random when it happens. It could actually be the background music that is popular that you've placed into the whatever to break
Right?
through. Yeah, I don't know. I try not to burden myself with thinking about that, but I can't help it. Like this is something that it takes time, it takes money, it takes resources, and so I have something to show for it. I truly do. Like there's the network of people that I know now, the friendships that I've made, the events that I've gone to, the trips that I've taken with people that I would have never otherwise met without doing this or being in this space is invaluable. You can't put a price tag on it. So I do have something to show for it. But my wife would probably love it if I could just offset the hunting trip costs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you also have to have, just in life in general. I mean, look at the 10,000 foot view. You have to have a pressure valve from the doldrums and your monotony of your day to day, like that you can use to release your stress and
Mm-hmm.
tension. And like, we're all adults. You have to go to work and pay bills and blah blah blah, pay taxes, whatever. But like, man, life is not about that. So you have to have something that you enjoy outside of, no offense, but I love my family, but outside of my family too. Just something that's why I love the hunt. But something that you have that you enjoy, whether it brings profit, financial profit or not. There's emotional and satisfaction profit. There's recharging of your batteries
Mm-hmm.
profit. I mean, and if it puts actual cash in your pocket, I mean, down
Yeah.
the road, then it's a cherry on the already awesome Sunday. So I guess look at it that way. But I mean, yeah, Justin has said the same thing to me too. He's like,
Yeah.
man, he's in the transition, moving to Iowa, building a new house. He got a lot of stuff on his plates, plates plural. Still has to produce content, and it's like, I wish I'd like turn this into like an actual,
Mm-hmm.
you know, income producing. But it's funny. It might take just the most subtle off the wall encounter, conversation or
Sure.
show or whatever before you just
Yeah.
like explode, and you don't know, and you'll never see it coming either.
Sure. That's true. It's very true.
Yeah.
Sean Twit, thank you for joining me today. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm doing awesome.
It's funny. You just made a comment about how you need to think about some of the positives, right? Well, it's 3:00 on a Tuesday and I'm recording a podcast with you. So that's a positive. I have that
Yep.
luxury and I don't take that lightly. So thank you for joining me today. We kind of spoke a little bit earlier and as I mentioned before, I know who you are. I mean, through the internet, I'm friends with Justin and Justin is friends with you. And I have followed along and I've watched some of the things you've done. And as I mentioned before, it's difficult to get everybody on the list of guests that you want to have on the podcast. And so it's helpful when you kind of refresh the screen and go through your algorithm and who have I been seeing recently pop up, and lo and behold, you just said what's up to me and here we are. So thanks
Yeah.
for doing this on a Tuesday afternoon, man.
It's funny they say what 6, 7 degrees of separation. I feel like it's more like 2 to 4,
I was going to say
three,
4 for
whatever.
sure.
Right?
Yep.
It's not. It's like everybody knows somebody who knows somebody. It's not like 5, 6, 7 people separated. I think it's smaller than that.
Yeah. Well, I've listened to you on podcasts before. I it was honestly probably Justin's, but I can't say for certain. But because this is the first time you've ever been here with me, I would love to hear a little bit of your backstory. You don't have to give me all the details, but give everybody a little bit of an idea of who Shan Twit is and where you come from and what you're doing.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me again, and thanks for the intro and the opportunity. Uh, Dad's been a big bow hunter. He's originally from Iowa. I was born in Iowa City, but I'm actually originally from Wisconsin. Been there most of my life. Tagged along with him, walking through the woods, flushing grouse and snowshoeing, cottontail rabbits in the wintertime. Became enamored with small game, and small game turned into medium-sized game like turkey, and then eventually archery when I got into high school. Kind of really took off. I mean, when your friends get involved with something, some type of sport, then all of a sudden becomes something that you have to do. But there was like a little healthy banter and competition with buddies, and we always like to swap stories. And just got bit by the whitetail bug pretty early on, though, like late junior high, early high school. And I was a big fishing fanatic up until then. Smallmouth, walleye, muskie, northern, all that stuff, trout. But didn't completely put all my fishing gear away, but once I got involved in whitetail, especially with the bow, it's like fishing, what fishing? Sold the bow, sold my canoe. Just got really enamored with it. I've been bow hunting since 1990. And my father was a big hunter. He's hunted all over Alaska, Canada, the lower 48, but mostly with a rifle, like 95+% of the rifle. And I remember picking up. I've shared the story with Andre DeQuisto in person. It was funny. And when I was 14 years old, I came across a magazine article and looking at tree stands. I was 14 in the backyard. My dad was kind of fumbling with this. Not going to mention the brand, but it was heavy, slow, quiet, cumbersome. And I read this magazine article and I was like, Dad, look at this stand. This is like, it's one piece. There's no welded parts. And like he should be teaching me this stuff. And I'm telling him, like, no, Dad, like this is the stand to use. He's like, yeah, whatever, pat on the back, sure, Sean. Wound up buying a climber later that year, saved some lawn money and bought a climber, and never looked back. I've been using Lone Wolf ever since 1990, and it's helped me big time. Hunted, cut my teeth, all the first probably 12, 13 years on public hunting ground in central Wisconsin. A lot of places by way access by way of BMX pedal bike, and then when I got my driver's license, had a pickup truck, could drive around to some other places, of course, and that opens up a tremendous amount of new opportunities. But I've hunted Wisconsin. I went to grad school. I went to chiropractic school in Davenport, Iowa. So while a student, a resident of Iowa, I was able to bow hunt Iowa, which was painful to be in the big buck state and have 28 plus credits a semester and not be able to go out very often. But I knocked down a few decent bucks in Iowa when I was in school there. Hunted Kansas, Montana, South Dakota, Connecticut, New York, Ohio. My wife and I now live in Lexington, Kentucky. So, I'm a huge fan of Kentucky, and then Montana on one occasion. But I'm a whitetail and turkey guy, and uh, not to take away against elk and bear and moose and caribou and all that stuff, but it's never really done much for me. I just love how adaptable the big whitetail deer can get and live literally in our backyard on a suburb outside of Manhattan and in the wild prairies of the Dakotas or like in Georgia and everything we're in between and humble the most skilled whitetail deer hunter. I mean, there's something magical about whitetails, man. I'm just a huge lifelong fan.
I I cannot possibly agree any more with you. I started my hunting journey at like 20, maybe 21.
Mhm.
And I worked with a bunch of guys in a shop, and 50% of them hunted. The owner was a big hunter. He was a friend of the family, and he took me to a bow shop and got me set up with my first bow. And then I hunted here for a couple more years with some friends. Didn't really learn anything. It was just like, let's go drink and do a little hunting. And I
Right, right,
never
right.
saw deer. Like I've never saw a deer in the daylight up there. This was Michigan still. And then I lived in
Yeah.
Florida for 13 years, and it never, like, I pawned my bow when I moved down there, and
Oh
never
no.
crossed my mind to hunt at all. And I could have, knowing what I know now, I made friends, and I could have figured out where to hunt and how to hunt down in Florida. Just never
Yeah.
did it. And so there's a part of me that looks back on my 20s, my early 20s, and really regrets not hunting. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
start hunting again until I was like 30, like 37. No, no, not that's yeah, maybe 37. And so that's really odd to me to think about,
Hmm.
quote unquote, my best years or my most physically competent years. I was tanning myself down in Orlando,
Oh
just like
no.
roasting down there. I never got to do so many cool things. So as a grown middle-aged man now, I'm like, do it all now. Halfway through my life, I got to do it all. And so I listened to you talk about being a young man and small game hunting and graduating into medium game hunting, and so on and so forth. Did you ever feel, as you were doing those things, like you had reached the pinnacle, like it's time to graduate, or did you just do it? Like, did you feel like, I'm bored squirrel hunting now, it's time to go trap or whatever?
Well, yeah, I always like to challenge myself. And I know that there's never really the opportunity to, match wits, if you will, with a cottontail or a squirrel. So it's like it was time to like push the envelope. And I love that, trying to figure out a specific whitetail, just the chess match of like
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out his Achilles heel, his weakness, going after him, targeting a specific animal, and seeing if I can do it, especially with the bow. Um, and the discipline I acquired, I think, over the years was really helpful, from martial arts. I was a martial artist for
Mm.
25 years, and so patience and discipline, focusing on a goal. I mean, like it's different sport, but it's not. It's not about breaking boards and fighting people. It's about discipline and focus and goal setting and knowing how to avoid contact and stuff. But and conflict, but recognizing moments for what they are, and like in enhancing your instincts and stuff. I think martial arts helped a lot with that. But like the whole concept, grew up reading articles on Chuck Adams, of course, and Miles Keller, and just all the guys of yesteryear that kind of paved the way. And they were just there's certain guys you read about, watched old school DVDs, or magazines, and you're like, there's like always the same group of guys, that a small group of guys that would just consistently get on big deer. And I thought, God, I mean, I've never even seen deer of that caliber, let alone every year in and year out, get them with the bow. It's like, how is that even possible? So the challenge of it was the allure, and I wanted to, really kind of step it up from, like I said, small to medium sized game, and there's nothing better than whitetail.
It's interesting that you say that you are a or are a I think once you're a martial artist, you're always a martial artist. Do you feel that way?
Kind of, yeah. I did it
Yeah.
until I competed until my early 30s, but it's like riding a bike. I mean, if I went to the gym right now and worked out, and there's so many things I wouldn't have to like ramp up to do. I mean, because when you do it for so long, it's like learning a language.
Mm-hmm.
If you start when you're 6 years old learning French, it's much easier than if you start when you're 45. It's like, it's not going to happen. But you're right, same type of thing.
Dude, my wife tells me all the time. So I have three children, and they're all in music. They all take music classes. They all take. So
Mm,
my oldest does singing. So she's a bit really into singing, and she does piano. My youngest daughter does cello. She's 7, and my
oh, interesting.
son does guitar. And they are all, the two oldest are like, I'm tired of this. I'm ready to do something different. And I'm like, no, no,
Yeah,
you will do music, because I always regret that I was never forced to learn a musical instrument. I love
yeah,
music. Music is amazing to me. I wish I would have learned to play piano, but my wife always says, just because you're 45 does not mean you cannot learn to play the piano. So even though you just said it's harder to learn the language at 45, I keep getting a lot of pressure to take some piano classes.
Yeah, it is because the muscle memory is developed early on. I
Sure.
actually, funny you bring up music, I did the clarinet for a long time.
Okay.
And yeah, I did that for 9 years. I did the whole solo ensemble competitions
Yeah.
and went to state, took first at state 4 years in a row. I was really into music. And then one day I soloed. It was a French made wooden buffet. It's called the buffet, French made wooden clarinet with a number five reed. And I would play that and do all the competitions and all that. Like I said, one day I just quit and I sold it. I didn't tell my parents. I used the money to go buy a fishing boat. My mom's like literally like legit on the verge of like, I mean, carotid arteries are just starting to
Oh,
bulge. I just gonna have a heart attack. I'm like, I'm sorry, what did you do? And I just one day I woke up and I'm like, that's it. I excelled at a certain level. I did for a long time, and then one day I just woke up and said, I don't want to. I don't want to have
that's
nothing to do with music anymore. But that skill set with hand-eye coordination, though, is also helps. It does translate into other sports. I mean,
mm-hmm.
and then that kudos to you for having your kids involved in music. They'll do a lot better scholastically. They'll be better, I think, as far as just in general goal setting discipline. I mean, students that do music, and I bet it sounds wonderful in your house all the time with all the different types of music
Sometimes.
with these instruments. Sometimes, yeah, but
Yeah, sometimes.
that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to do
Agreed.
to force them to do that. That's kudos, man. That's
So
good.
where I started before I veered off track here was when I think about martial artist or martial arts, it is a very mano a mano. It is not a team sport. It is a very
Right.
individual challenge that you are going
Hmm.
through at the time. When I think about deer hunting today, I played team sports. I was a hockey guy. That's all I did for my whole life. That's it. I didn't do any other sort of individual challenges. But when I approach my hunting season, I look at it very much like it's me against the world. Do you
Hmm.
feel like that those personality traits, those characteristics that you developed in martial arts translate to how you approach everything?
Yeah, I don't. I think martial arts help with making it easier to block out the noise and distractions of life and to have a tunnel vision more and focus on one specific target, which helps with archery, which helps with focusing and targeting a
Mm-hmm.
mature whitetail. And yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
nice. I like that. It's just
yeah.
fascinating because I there's the longer I talk to people, the more I learn about different uh, pastimes or sports or professions that I feel like are contributing to a person's individual success in the outdoors in whatever their direction they're trying to go. And it's interesting to me that you can pick a little bit from a lot of different things to kind of contribute to that. So it happened to register to me while we were talking. If
Yeah.
you can think back to being a younger man again, as you were growing up with your dad, who was primarily a gun hunter, were you ever trying to get him over to team archery?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for many, many years. Yeah, it took a long time. Matter of fact, he didn't actually start getting into archery until, I mean, he's had a bow, but he didn't really. I've never seen him. I don't think I've ever seen him go, even when I was young. Um, he started to delve into it more when I got to the later part of high school, early undergrad, because I went to undergrad in my hometown. I was a biology major, and I went to UW Stevens Point. And so I stuck around for another 4 years after high school. So like when I started knocking down some good deer, he started to get the juices flowing. He's like, okay, well, shit, my son's shooting these some pretty good deer, and I'm
This
sure I was a
damn
big deer
kid's
too,
onto
but like,
something.
oh, with a 30-06 or a 270, it's like, how is he doing this? And
Yeah.
so like, there's a little healthy banter and competition, a little bit, and we'd
Mm-hmm.
go, for sure, and that was fun. But then when I went off to grad school, I wasn't around as much, and so he still went on occasion, but it was not like,
Yeah.
he's still going his annual several big game hunts, out of state, Canada, Alaska, all that stuff, but not with archery, so That's why, I mean, it helps with me too. Like when you have a friend in high school that, or friends that are really excited about it, it rubs off on you, and then those again those competitive juices start flowing, and then if it happens early enough, just like learning a language, it sticks with you a lot easier than if you pick it up later in life.
Are there is there anything that you do in your profession that helps you stay more healthy based on your understanding of the human body to help
Yeah.
you through the season?
Yeah, and I always like to, I knew like when I was in high school before I went to college, I wanted to be the doctor that was in good shape too, and not come stumbling, out of out of shape, overweight, smelling of smoke, in pain, And let me tell you about what to do to live a proactive, healthy lifestyle. It's like, oh, really, buddy? So I
Uh,
wanted to live that life congruent with my philosophy of the
okay.
natural non-drug approach and proactive, homeopathic paradigm versus like the allopathic sick care, crisis care, drug care, symptom reducing, versus addressing the cause of the issue, right? And so I wanted to live a lifestyle that was congruent with what I was saying philosophically as a
I love
doctor.
that.
So yeah, that's huge. Yeah. And then I when I do these workshops, I'll talk about this a little bit later too, but I always tell people like you want to be in the best shape, the best version of yourself so that like the predator, like a coyote, fox, or bobcat, lean, mean, high endurance, powerful, anaerobically, fit animal so that you can sneak up and kill because your life depends on it literally in the wild. You want to be like, you want to try to some extent, I think, it's a good approach to kind of emulate the ideal predator. I love predator hunting in the wintertime. It keeps your skills sharp, and I think it does help you become a better whitetail deer hunter, just knowing how to play the wind and stay hidden and knowing when to move and when not to. But as a human, I mean, I think getting off medications, don't be, consuming alcohol, prescription meds, besides, hand-eye coordination, balance, and safety, just being perched in a tree stand, for example, you shouldn't really be doing that. You can sit longer when you don't have pain. Your hand-eye coordination, like I said, eyesight, hearing, all your senses are more in tune when they're not being, suppressed with medications, or you're carrying extra weight and you're having pain, and it's not as fun, and so you can't, your endurance goes down, and you're just not as effective as a hunter when you're not in shape mentally and physically and spiritually. I think that if you live that lifestyle, it can help translate to more success in the deer woods. I mean, it's all connected.
100%. Man, I feel like we could do a 2-hour podcast just on that topic. Holy crap.
Sure.
I didn't know that about you. I love that. I love that. We're huge proponents for that in this household.
Huge.
Big
Yeah.
time. Yeah. Again, when you're growing up and you're starting to knock down some good deer, what age were you, and where were you at in life when you started meeting some of these other like-minded individuals or groups of individuals that you mentioned that you're kind of are working with or partnering with today?
So it all goes back to, I mean, when I was in high school, dad realized that I was kind of going up to the next level in the archery world, and he couldn't kind of teach me too much. Not, you can always learn from your parents, always learn from
Yeah,
especially your father, uncle, or, grandfather hunts. Okay, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't a bow hunter, right? So he had a patient of his, and I've said this before. He had a patient of his that he said, "Man, Sean, you need to meet this guy." And he was like a local celebrity in central Wisconsin. He only hunted with the bow, he only hunted from the ground, and he only hunted public. Okay. And he was the definition of a mobile hunter, right? Like just on the
sure.
ground,
Yeah,
not never from blind, never had, you owned a tree stand. And I followed this guy in the Lincoln County forest in central Wisconsin for a couple times out. But the first time I went out with a guy, he put me on like a mid 140s 9 point. I got to like maybe 37, 38 yards. Wrong angle, didn't take the shot, didn't feel comfortable. And he commended me on, passing up on the opportunity. Um, but I mean, he put me on that deer. I learned, I mean, the guy would not make noise when he would walk. I mean, and he's not known in the hunting industry, if you will, but like he's known locally. I just every year he just gets it done. So I started following this guy and learning how little I actually knew and how little correlation there was, especially when you hunt public and the way that he hunted compared to like the quote celebrity hunters on perfectly manicured quality deer managed properties on private, large tracts of private, just night and day difference. Not to
Sure.
take away from that, but just they're not the same. And I learned a lot from that guy. And then over the years, I went to, the Deer and Turkey Expo, and then, the whitetail, the one in Iowa, the Iowa Classic. And
Mm-hmm.
I met, I met Michael Waddell. I mean, I've got some pictures with him. He doesn't know who I am, but I met him a couple times at different expos and picked his brain, um, and met some other people in the industry just at different big events. And then more recently, in the last few years, I was at the ATA show in Louisville, and I was there with another gentleman. Didn't feel the vibe was going to go in the direction I kind of wanted to go. Again, that's a whole other podcast. But and I went back for day two with the idea of meeting Andre and Cody DeQuisto. We chatted up and we connected, and then that kind of segued into filming for a season for Whitetail Addictions. One of my hunts was on there a couple of years back. That was a cool episode. Just and to know these people, and then to be on the panel of guys to share their expertise at their Iowa farm was kind of a cool experience.
Yeah.
He's a legend among legends. I mean, absolute
Mm-hmm.
killer. To be at his own personal farm, and then to be in his house and see his mounts and connect with him was just always really neat. Um, and then, gosh, and then a little time after that, connected with Tarif Al-Khatib from Team 200, and he's following me on Instagram. We started chatting over the course of a few months, and then said I'd like to put you in contact with Adam, and then the rest is history. Now, this is going to be my third year filming with Adam Hayes on Team 200. So it's funny because like it's funny how things can just be going slow, slow, slow for years, and all of a sudden, like the stock market, like the biggest gains can happen to like the last 5% of time. It's just kind of like it's weird how that works and how overnight success has happened in 10 years or more.
Yeah.
But I've been filming with little Sony Handycams and little mini DV format. They look like cereal box, old school, bulky, very low capability
Yeah.
cameras from yesteryear, and just always trying to capture moments just for the fun of capturing hunts.
For yourself.
Um, for myself, yeah,
Yeah.
just for that, no YouTube channel, none of that stuff. I did like a DVD burner. I was cataloging hunts from over a 20-year period. I got 20 years worth of footage. Um, and by comparison, what I'm doing today, they're not very good. You might like it, but I mean, I'm like, we're always going to be our own worst critic.
Sure.
But I've been filming just for the joy of filming. I wanted to capture moments, not even necessarily capture the kill, just to capture the essence of the hunt, so I can go back and relive it, and enjoy it. Because telling a story or sharing a still photo is one thing, but to be able to watch the entire hunt unfold on camera, I thought it was always just mesmerizing. So I've always been intrigued by filming, and so Adam and Andre saw that skill set and said, "Hey, we could definitely use you," and it's been wonderful just filming for different outlets on TV and online, and it's been a blessing. It's been fun.
And to go along with that, I think not only is it fun, as we kind of mentioned in the beginning, you have just taken and you became inserted, or you inserted yourself into a world of additional contacts. People
Yeah.
that know people that know people that know people that know people. And you start, if you want, what is it? What is the saying goes? If you are the sum of the five people you spend the most time with, or something like that. Is that how
Oh
it goes?
yeah. Birds
Like,
with feather, man, flock together.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're going to surround yourself with good people, like-minded individuals who work hard and are disciplined and set goals and are high achievers, I think the chances are that you're going to elevate your game too, because you want to hang out with the homies and you want to be able to speak the language and talk the talk and have those
100%.
shared experiences. So kudos to you for
100%.
putting in the work. Number one, like you don't just walk into that conversation and walk out the other side without having a little success. So you had to obviously have been able to show that you know what you're talking about. Now, were you already a staunch proponent of Lone Wolf gear? Like, were you already using their stuff, or kind of how did that go?
Yeah. I mean, when we first started chatting, I mentioned when I was 14 in the backyard talking about stands and stuff with
Yeah.
my dad. I bought my first Lone Wolf climbing
Oh, it
stand when
was
I
a
was
Lone Wolf
14
gear.
years old.
Okay.
It was a Lone Wolf.
Okay.
It's 2026, and I've purchased I don't know how many stands since then, all Lone Wolf.
Yeah.
Whether I was with Adam and Team 200 or not is irrelevant. I mean, um, I'm a lone wolf guy. Like, I mean, for my safety, for the ease of use, how quiet they are, how reliable. I mean, whether it's 90 degrees or 10 below, like it's not going to make noise, and I you can bank on that. Like, I'm a lone wolf, groupie, if you will. For I mean, I always have been. But yeah, I just your free time is very limited and it's valuable. Like the last thing I want to mess with is having my stand give me away when I've done everything else right up until that point. So shout out to you guys, Lone Wolf.
Yeah, I agree.
Huge
Listen,
lifelong fan.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I spent a couple of years ago, like 5 years ago, I decided I was going to mobile hunt. I wasn't satisfied with the way things were going, and I've told the story on here. Long story short is, I dicked around with low end entry level stuff to figure out if this was truly what I wanted to do. Once I
Hmm.
made that commitment to I'm gonna buy a saddle and have a nice saddle. I'm gonna buy a platform and sticks and all the shit because this is how I'm going to do it. I went from entry
Yeah,
level to top of the line because
yeah, yeah,
it's tried and true. I went to a Mobile Hunters Roadshow. I've been to 3 Mobile Hunters Roadshows in
yeah,
Michigan. You're able to test the gear. You can use the climbing sticks. You can sit on the stands. It is of the utmost quality. And you can put a price tag on it because they do, but I will tell you there is nothing like going into the woods with whatever your setup is, having full confidence in it that it's gonna do exactly what you want it to do. And it's too dangerous to go cheap.
yeah. And when your life is on the line
Yeah.
potentially, like the last thing you want is to like lose your footing and have the stand kick away from you, or a component of the stand break. I mean, like price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Like it
Yep.
doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter the price. If they made the stand 5 grand, but it was the best stand and it was the safest stand, you have to ask yourself. I know friends who know friends that have fallen out of tree stands and have died or become severely injured. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
man, what was the situation? What were they using? How high were they? How safe were they? Did they use a safety harness or belt? A lot of times they weren't, I've never heard of anybody, falling out of a lone wolf stand. Like it might have happened. I just in 36 years, I've never heard of it happening. But I mean, like you hunt differently, you hunt with more confidence, and you hunt more effectively when you have better quality gear.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't just more fun to use the stuff, it actually is gear, like just like hunting camouflage. Yeah, it's something we can't go out there naked. We have to wear clothing, right? But it should be effective. It should be quality, comfortable, quiet. And if it's not, in my opinion, junk it, throw it away. It's not worth the price tag if it doesn't help you. So you can be an Olympic archer, but if your clothing's noisy or your stand creaks, you've just wasted potentially the one opportunity that you had at your number one target. And it's like, man, and you can't get that opportunity back usually,
Listen,
you
I
know.
hear you about nudity, but I believe the Native Americans were all the way down to a loincloth. So, I mean, there's a chance that you could just do a loincloth episode for Team 200.
Yeah,
You can use all the modern stands you want, but if you're in just a loincloth, dude, that video is going to go viral.
that's hardcore. Speaking of, I found my first arrowhead ever
Really?
last Friday.
I just told my wife I want to start looking for them. Did you find it
I've
by
always paid
you?
attention on the one farm and right in here in Kentucky. And I'm always looking in ag fields, permission-based farms. I'm always looking creeks, drainages, fields that I've tilled, worked over myself. And I don't know how many hundreds of times, my whole life. It's like, you look down like, oh, there's one. Oh, it's just a rock that's
Mm-hmm.
just looking like an arrowhead or a spearhead. And how many, false alarms, right? But I was just finishing up a soybean field. I was just spraying it for the second time this year. It's coming up good now. And I was almost done. I'm reaching down to pick up a rock to toss out my 1,000th rock out of the field. And I looked down, and the second I saw it, I know what they look like, but I've never actually found one. But the second I saw it, I knew without a shadow of doubt what it was, and my heart just exploded. I couldn't believe it. And it's in almost mint condition.
Oh,
It's
baby.
pretty awesome.
That is really
Yeah.
cool. Oh, I
Yeah.
would love to do that. I know that you can find some around here. Like where I live used to be a major thoroughfare for some Native Americans and where they would trade with the whites here in this area. I've never found anything here, but I do. Every time I go to like Kansas or Ohio and the rivers and I'm looking at stuff, I've always got my eyes peeled. I would love to find an arrowhead. That's super awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of my chiropractic patients actually on Monday, so today's Tuesday, it was yesterday. Last week I told him about the story, and he's like, dude, I got to show you something. So he showed me some pictures. His father from Western Kentucky, 3 hours west of here where I live, had like 50 plus pieces, and like probably 90% are just mint. And there's a couple cracked, but the rest are not. Maybe 5-10%. The rest are like perfect. And they're all different styles, like which means different uses, but and also and or from different tribes that kind of
Mm-hmm.
crossed over.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so he brought it into the office yesterday. I was like, oh man. He's actually never found one himself. He's like, this is my dad's.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah,
sweet. So you
it
said that
is.
you're from Iowa, but you've spent most of your life in Wisconsin. But now
No, no,
you're
I was born in Iowa City, but I'm from Wisconsin. My dad is from Iowa, and but I've lived there in Wisconsin since I was one. I'm
oh
49. I'll be 50 this November. So I've been here in Kentucky since 2016, but
okay.
I spent the first 30 plus years of my life in Wisconsin. Yeah,
Got
yeah.
it. Okay, that makes sense. So do you
And you're
love?
in Michigan?
I'm in Michigan. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never lived
Lewisburg,
anywhere
Iowa.
other than Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you love Kentucky?
It's incredible. There was a few years where I went after graduating from school, I practiced with dad for 4 years, and then I moved out to Connecticut. Um, Long story, but I started practice out there in 2010. I sold in 2016. I was like, okay, do I either go back to Wisconsin, uh, Colorado, Iowa, um, Kentucky, and for a brief moment, I thought possibly South Dakota, but there's like 12 people live in South Dakota and be outside of hunting season. It's like, how can I build a practice in South Dakota? So but I came out here to visit a buddy of mine. I fell in love with the horse country, milder winters, big deer. It's a $1 per season state. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to get away with and move the entire rifle season from November to December, like they do in Iowa and Ohio, and make some other changes. But for the most part, it's when you have access to the right properties or you own or lease for your own properties, you can do quite a bit and do the right thing, in my opinion, my humble
Mm-hmm.
opinion, and not necessarily do what the rest of the herd does. But Kentucky's great soil, great mineral. Big deer. I mean, there's a lot of deer that break 150 at age 3, and
No
in
kidding.
Kentucky, and yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, that Kentucky's not a far drive for me. I just have never thought about going that far south. I know it's not that far, but it's still.
Yeah, for a Wisconsin night or a person from Minnesota or Michigan, right? And like in your case, it seems like, wow, that's pretty damn south. But I think like when you get to like Tennessee and further south, that's kind of like you're getting like into the south. Kentucky's still part of like the southern part of the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get snow, you get ice, you get some single digits. It's been down below zero, but you're not going to get that in, your Georgias and your Louisiana and Mississippi's and stuff. But you get a little bit, but you get the 4 seasons, but it's not as brutal as it is in Michigan or Wisconsin.
Right.
So
What's
yeah.
the terrain like that you're hunting there in Kentucky?
Rolling hills, oak ridges, ag fields, some farm country. It's very similar to parts of southwest Ohio. In central Wisconsin, you have dairy farms, a lot of potato farms, a lot of ag fields, a lot of corn and soybeans, wheat fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's similar. It's not too different really.
And are you hunting private ground there in Kentucky?
Yeah, I've only hunted private in Kentucky. Yeah, I've been, because I'm a healthcare provider, right? It's like, there's that benefit of taking care of people. You do good by people, take care of them, you develop relationships. And oh, by the way, your grandma owns 250 acres or you own 60. It's like I've gotten on permission for some pretty good places just by helping them, help 'em get rid of your migraines. I'll do that. But, do you have any deer on your property? Take
Yeah.
care. How's your
Hey,
hip?
that's
I can fix
that's what
that.
it's all about, man. You're doing a good job. You're doing a good thing for good people, and that is just a tremendous consequence of doing a good job. It's wonderful. I've heard other people talk about
Yep.
it.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. You know who Josh Profit is?
I've heard the name. I don't know him.
I think I think he's down in that area in Kentucky, perhaps, and he opened a barber shop. And I've heard him talk about cutting these old farmers' hair, and it just kind of naturally happens. And then my buddy
Just
lives,
organic.
yeah, and my buddy lives up in Traverse City, up at the tip of Michigan, and he does some cardiac rehab stuff for some folks, and he's been able to make some connections and hunt some vineyards up there and some cherry orchards and stuff. So it is just a benefit of the industry that you are afforded that opportunity, and that's really great. um
Yeah. And you can't sell people and you can't ever approach a person with an ulterior motive because a lot of, especially farmers, they're going to smell that from a mile away. You just have to be genuine, offer to do help and
yeah.
mean it and actually be willing to follow through with that offer. Um, Whether they take you up on it is up to them, but you have to offer. I think so.
Hmm.
And then if you do good by people with whatever profession, I don't care if you own a donut shop, but like you develop that rapport, and then over organically it'll just happen without. I've never had to write a check,
Hmm.
to lease a farm until like 2 years ago, and I've gone 36 years without having to deal with that. It's getting harder to be able to get that, that yes for nothing, for just, a handshake.
Hmm.
But up, the 34 years of my 33 and a half years of my life, I mean, whatever it is, 34 years, didn't have to spend a dime. It's just developing that connection with just the person.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
do,
So
do you feel like
it can be
having
done.
do you feel like having a $1 state, or being in a $1 state, um you ever feel like it stresses you out only having $1 tag?
Oh gosh. Last year it did. It has in 2020 it did. Last year it did. There's let's see, in 2018 it did, in 2020, and then last year. So
Sounds
yeah,
like a
three
lot.
of the last, yeah, so like about a third of the seasons. I mean, I love September and October more than November. Hands down, no comparison.
Why is
No
that?
comparison. November is more for like the person who relies more on luck and doesn't have time to put in the time for scouting and learning about the deer. Um, I love picking apart a deer and going after them early season when you have the element of surprise in your favor. I like early September, the first 2 weeks of September. I love all of October. It's more comfortable, selfishly, to hunt the last 7 to 10 days of the month. And big bucks, as we all know, they return to their beds a lot later in the morning, and they get up a lot early in the afternoon, especially if you got a cold front, red moon, all this stuff. You stack the odds in your favor. High barometer rising right after a rain front. Everyone knows about that. Okay, these are the conditions that get deer on their feet. But when it's not comfortable for a lot of people and it's 80 plus degrees, most guys are not super amped about deer hunting. But I've always said to my consulting clients, you know, my comfort is of little concern to me. I don't care about my own personal comfort. I'm going to do what it takes to get on a deer, regardless of what the weather throws my way. Um, but yeah, I love the early season. I love the mid season. November is fun. It's exciting, but your target's not predictable because he doesn't even know from 1 minute literally to the next what he's going to do. I mean, he has some semblance of a pattern, but he kind of just is now he's covering more ground. He's looking for that first doe.
Hmm.
And it's hard to get on the buck and fool him at his own game. when he doesn't know where he's going to be. From 1 minute to the next. But that's why I like the early season.
Yeah. I um
Yeah.
I have hunted the Nebraska opener, which is September 1 year, and we've always gone out for the Kansas opener. My brother and I have gone to Kansas for the opener. Like we'll go a couple days, we'll scout a couple days, and then we'll hunt a couple days just to kind of get the lay of the land, and then
Sure.
return at another time. And you're right, it's not can be 95. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there's nobody else is hunting but us ding dongs. But
Yeah.
again, it is what it is. You just let your clothes dry in the sun later because they were soaked with sweat. But I don't mind that. So I like the early season. Well, I guess I like. So for Michigan, it's an October opener, October 1 opener. I love October, and then I love December. November,
Oh yeah.
I've shot a lot of bucks in that first or maybe that second week in November on
Yeah.
does, like whatever. That's just the way it goes. But I love the challenges that October bring, and I love this.
Oh yeah.
As brutal as it is, I love hunting and I love bow hunting in the snow. I love it.
Oh yeah.
It's so
There's
brutal.
nothing cooler than seeing deer come at you, on that
Yeah,
highway like runway as they work their way to a still standing, bean or cornfield or wherever. I mean, and the predictability, they're back on that bed to feed pattern.
yeah.
They don't have the distraction of the estrus, in the air. Um, yeah, that's where it's at, man.
Well, I want to circle back to sort of how you started to commingle with all of these incredible people that are in the quote unquote industry. And then I heard you mention consulting, and I also
Mhm.
know via Justin about your guys' workshop. Tell us
Mhm.
about the workshop and when you decided there was a need for that.
Oh man, I, I've always wanted to be able to. I always loved taking friends of mine from like even high school, early high school on, to kill their first duck on the Wisconsin River, their first coyote, first deer, first turkey. A lot of those are filmed, some are not, but I mean, I always like to kind of quote guide, just have fun filming with my buddies. Um, and in the last, probably 6, 7 years, I've been thinking about wouldn't it be kind of cool to host a workshop where I could take the 30 plus years of bow hunting experience and then have some guests come with, to co-collaborate, like Justin, for example, and just have a meeting of the minds and share tips and tactics for gun hunting too, but like primarily for the bow hunter.
Sure.
Just the fanatic, the bow hunter like myself, just the guy or gal that really immerses himself in going after a specific whitetail. And when you look around, there's how many guys out there are willing to bring people and host on their own private property? It doesn't happen for a lot of reasons, right? And I get
Few and
that.
far between for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, going to a hunting lodge or an event that the person that's hosting is renting is one thing, or a PowerPoint presentation that's given, or a YouTube video, or DVD, or online something that you're watching. There's all sorts of sources for information, but like if you can see and feel and touch and hear in person the property and watch the person hosting why he or she puts the stands here, the mock scrapes there, the food plot is planted in this and for these reasons, and then these are the times of the year that you hunt it, and this is the design, and here's the access routes, because you can stand in one spot and do a 360. You can see and feel it, and you can immerse yourself in the experience. And some people are visual, some people are auditory, some people are tactile, some people are heavy in all three, some people, but that's how you learn. I mean, and no, and hardly anybody does that. These boot camps and workshops that you see online, they're either done at a piece of large public, right,
Mm-hmm.
or somewhere other than their private farm in Iowa or Kansas. Okay,
Yeah.
like right, and I don't have a problem with that because I think that's the best way and honest way to like share information because the last one we had in March, we had people from 8 different states, and we had one gentleman who just started, I think, bow hunting last year. He was 17. And then we had one guy who last year
He
was
was
his 50th
17
year,
years old.
17.
Awesome.
And then there was a gentleman that was last season in 25, I believe was his 50th year bow hunting. So that covers the whole gamut.
Yeah.
And the guy's been hunting for 50 years. He's taken several Boone and Crockett's. And what's cool about that is that just like any profession or any hobby, any sport that you want to excel at, you understand the best of the best know the learning doesn't even slow down, let alone stop. And right. So you can always learn something from somebody, a conversation you hear while walking from one stand location to the other,
Yeah.
or from the first hour talk that the person's giving. There's all sorts of information and knowledge. And by being immersed with a group of people, like-minded individuals, it's fun, but you're always going to take away a lot. And so I've always wanted to do that. And I'm having my next one on August 15th. It's here in Kentucky, and it's going to be about, bulletproof access. We're going to talk about mindset and goal setting. We're going to talk about, where to put water holes and where not to put them, thermals and using terrain to your advantage and prevailing wind versus thermals. Okay, what's the difference and how do you, benefit from both? We'll have coffee and donuts in the morning, and then at noon, I'm going to have some catered in barbecue from my one of my favorite barbecue restaurants here in Lexington. They've been around a
Ooh-wee.
long time. Yep, yep. And yeah, and then we'll have a Q&A session after, during lunch and a Q&A at the end. And it should be a good time. So if you guys want more information, you can hit me up on Instagram um, um, or Facebook and get you more information on that.
And
The
where
when and
can
where.
people find you on? I'm not wrapping this up. I just forgot to do it in the beginning. Where can people find you on Instagram?
It's just Shan Twit, and just DM me right there or on my Facebook page. I have a website also. It's maturewhitetailstrategies.com. And yeah, you mentioned I mentioned I do the consulting too. So I wanted to do a workshop where you do one in August, so a person can see what a turnkey farm looks like right before hunting season, because people are getting out of that mindset of fishing and family vacays, right? And they're starting to think about, oh crap, bow season starts in a month or two. I better get going. And then we do the other one in March, early to mid March, because by then the deer season's done, the best of shed hunting season's done, but turkey hasn't really started yet, right? So like, what do you do
Mm-hmm.
in that limbo period?
Yeah.
So that's why we do it in March, and so
Well, I'll
that's the
make
deal.
sure
Yeah.
to collect that information from you and have it in the show notes for sure. Because I do find a tremendous value in what you are talking about and offering. And I think if people are truly interested in learning, there is no better way than being boots on the ground somewhere, touching, feeling, hearing, seeing. That is the best way to learn. Period.
Yep.
It's the only way to do it. Or the alternative is just go try everything and figure out what works and then throw away what doesn't. But if you're interested in learning, this is the way to do it. But tell me a little bit more about your consulting.
So yeah, I own Mature Whitetail Strategies LLC. December through the end of March. Um, as late as like the first week of April, right before my turkey season starts, I'll take a client. But like December through March is the best time to do postseason scouting and to learn um, the terrain features and see last year's deer sign. So like in the winter months, if someone wants to hire me as a consultant, excuse me, what I do is I drive out to their farm and I grid search from north to south, east to west, the entire farm. And I can cover effectively about 80 acres a day from dark to dark by myself, just and thoroughly, right? And I put together a plan based on what kind of cards you have to deal with, what the terrain looks like, what your neighbors are doing, uh, what the food sources are, how far away they are, and where your stand should be, cameras, food plots, access trails. And then I put a plan together for you that's catered for the individual on what to do, what not to do, so that you can be more effective and get basically in the game and be on more deer and bigger deer more consistently on your farm.
And are you doing that exclusively in Kentucky or do you go elsewhere?
No, no, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, Kentucky. For the right client or clients, I might go back up to Wisconsin, but south, like the southern third, maybe
Okay.
central Illinois, all the way over, and then down to Tennessee, northern Tennessee.
How long have you been doing that?
This winter will be my fourth year.
That's awesome. I've thought about doing something similar, but I don't know enough yet. So I'm still learning. I'm going to continue to learn, and then maybe one day I will do something similar because I just want to be outside more. I want to be in the woods
Yeah.
more. I want to be on people's farms more. I want to help people. I want to help my own hunting area. Like I just want to be boots on the ground in the hunting arena more frequently. How can I do that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's nothing more exciting than learning a new piece of dirt, right? Walking it, because it also does the learning goes both ways. It helps me on my farms
Yeah.
look at a different perspective from meeting the individual, learning how they hunt. But it's frustrating if you've been doing the same thing, as they say, insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. It's not how long you've been hunting that matters. It's how effective have you been during the time that you've been hunting, right? That matters. And I think that if you're gonna want to take advice from anybody on any subject matter, you should take advice from someone who's been successful at it. I'm not saying I'm the best hunter out the world. That's not what I'm saying.
Sure.
I'm saying, like you can talk to your uncle who's been hunting for 42 years, and in 42 years on a 300-acre piece of private that's really nice in Ohio, if the biggest buck he's taken is a 140, and it was with the rifle in 97. I don't know, like if maybe I should go to my uncle or to talk to the guy who's maybe, let's say he's 35, but he's taken 15 Pope and Youngs in just as many years and from the same county. Like, who do you want to talk to about getting tips and tactics on
Sure.
to improve your hunting? That's all that I'm saying about that. Yeah.
Oh, I understand your defensiveness there, but I completely agree.
You know what
You
I mean?
know, it's what is it? It's if you're just talking into your own echo chamber, you're gonna validate your own opinion for sure every time.
That's
Yeah, no,
right.
I love it, and it's cool that
Yeah.
you're doing a workshop. I am in the process of trying to put together my second meetup, second annual meetup. We did one last year where my brother has a restaurant. It's this outdoor food truck area,
Oh, nice.
and what I've noticed is that I know a lot of people around here on Instagram, a lot, but never met them, and I was like, this is bullshit. I've got to be able to find somewhere where these people can go and we can just hang out and eat tacos.
Yeah.
And if they want to drink beer, they can drink beer. I don't drink, but they can drink beer. And so I'm
Yeah.
trying to put together this opportunity to meet these like-minded individuals and maybe find someone that's hunting the public by you that you might have questions on or can offer you some guidance on that first out of state hunt because there's nothing I'll never be able to say this more enthusiastically. If you want to go out of state, fucking go out of state. Don't
Yeah,
wait
just
for
do
your
it.
buddies to join you. Don't wait for three guys to get on the same page as you.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
go. It'll be the
Yeah.
greatest experience of your life.
Yeah, be a trailblazer. And the best teacher for me has always been pain. Making some mistakes,
Yes.
emotional pain, financial pain, relationship pain, physical. Like, pain's a good teacher. Like, when you keep
Yeah.
hunting the same farm for 3 years in a row and you're not, okay, maybe I should come at it from a different, maybe hunt less often, come from different directions, maybe use a different tactics, because the definition of insanity is very frustrating. So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, on
just
the farm when we do the workshops, there's something for everybody. Like, it's big bluff country along the Kentucky River. It's a
mm,
170-acre farm. It's big bluff country, but there's native grassy areas. There's tillable. There's mature canopy. There's early and mid succession. There's some food plots. There's some wild areas. There's a creek on one end. There's the Kentucky River on the south end. And so there's a lot going on there. It's not like a 20-acre parcel. It's just flat in central Iowa. It's like there's a lot going on. So what I found is that people can, regardless of what state they live in and how they hunt and what topography they hunt, they're taking away something because they're recognizing a part of the farm that's very similar to where they live and where they hunt, right? So there's an added value there.
100%, man. And it just, like I said, you're just reiterating to me that I need to be more aggressive in putting this together. Like make sure that we do it repetitively, annually, to give these guys an opportunity because some of them may not see us again for another year. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got stuff
Sure.
going on. It's a great opportunity to get out and hang out with people, meet some new people. And same with yours. I'm sure there's guys who've probably made friends at your workshops who they then talk to forever now.
And they're definitely cross-referencing.
Yeah.
and meeting new people and sharing tips, and like several people from the last workshop that now I know they're talking because
Yeah.
they've told me, so
Well,
it's
you
good.
mentioned you're filming for Team 200, your third year now.
Mhm.
What do you got coming up with them? Can you share any juicy little nuggets?
Yeah, so last year, well, in 2024, I laid eyes on a deer I call Coke Can. Yeah, and I had lots of encounters in person. I filmed them in the fall and in the winter months with the drone. I got trail cam pictures. I really documented this deer. I knew when he dropped his sheds, went in on the second day. Within 45 minutes, found both sets. Documented all that. That was pretty cool. And then as soon as I when I tagged another deer on that same farm that year, the hunt for him began literally the next day. Like, okay, how am I going to plan to kill this deer next year in 2025? And he grew from 147 to 190. He put on 43 inches, and he had 7-inch bases, 24-inch outside, 27-inch
Oh,
beams. The rack weighed just under 8 pounds. And I planned a lot. I planted what I planted, where I planted, and how I planted it with access trails mowed from where I know he's been bedding and where he showed up in early season last year, so that like when I went in with the right wind, I get him. And he read the script. It worked out awesome, right? So, and that doesn't always happen. And laid a great shot on him at 21 yards and tipped over. Did the recovery the next morning with my son, my son Dakota. He's 6
oh,
now,
that's
but
so
he
fun.
was uh, he was 5 at the time. And so that was just, emotional up and down. It was really cool. And so that'll air later, I think either next month or sometime in August. I'll actually find out tonight at 9 o'clock. I'll be
Okay.
talking to him tonight, so I'll find out tonight. But when I do, I'll let you know, and then you can
Yeah,
share with
sweet.
people. But it's really exciting. I've never been more excited to share a story because it came together. Got some great drone shots of him in the fall and the winter, from the year before, and then from last summer. And man, he blew up. He was a 300-pound whitetail and just a freak. Yeah,
Jeez.
I've shot some good deer in Wisconsin. I shot this one buck in 2000. He grossed a 149 and some change. And his dressed weight was 210. Okay, dressed. This deer was substantially bigger, and it was his September weight. I mean, this deer was, he
Jeez.
filled the back of my Tacoma, huge deer. And the storyline came out. Dave, the producer, editor of the show, did a phenomenal job. He's insanely talented, and the storyline is true to form. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's gonna be awesome. So
And do you self film, or was there someone filming with you?
no, we're all self-filming. Yeah,
Oh,
so all the
okay.
guys in the team, we're all self-filming. Yep. So it's filming while you're hunting.
So you mentioned
Yep.
earlier you used to use like rinky dinks handy cams and so on and so forth. What are you
Yeah, back
using
in the day.
now? You get a little bit of an upgrade
Um,
now?
well, this year I'm using the Canon XA70. It's a good camcorder. What I was using last year was the Canon Vixia HFG60.
I think that's what I have.
Um, Solid 1-inch CMOS sensor, great in low light, great zoom capability, great audio. The XA I like a little bit better, a little bit more user friendly. Basically the same size and style camera, but just a little bit better lens and whatnot.
And you like
It's,
the
it's a
camcorder
solid camera.
style instead of like a
I
mirrorless?
do.
Yeah.
I like the camcorder style. Yeah, the
Yeah.
mirrorless. You can produce phenomenal stuff with the
Sure.
mirrorless, and DSLRs. But you have to. There's a lot going on there to make it to produce a good quality final product.
I don't have the balls to take that leap, man. There's no way. No
Yeah,
way. In fact, there comes a point in every season where I'm like, okay, done with the camcorder. I'm just going to the phone now.
yeah.
Every season.
Yeah, it's like, oh, where's the iPhone? Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like there's filming, and then there's hunting. There's
Oh
two
yeah.
separate entities, and to combine them both is tough. But boy, when the stars line up, and you get the good history, the good story, and a good shot, there's nothing better, man. It's worth the challenge. It really is. It's super fun.
Yeah. I made a promise to myself to be more diligent this year. That's actually been a promise that I've made to myself every year for 3 years. And I've got incrementally better. I finally got some kills on camera last year. Um, this year I want to do a better
Awesome.
job of storytelling, like now. So I take my 360 with me while I'm doing whatever, and I document the drive in, the walk out, and so I'm trying to put more of a story together, and just instead of just here's the tree, here he comes, bang, dead. Like I want to do a little
Yeah,
bit
that's a
more.
that's a 90-second video. How do you feel a 30-minute episode? So you have to
Yeah,
talk about like why you're planning what you're doing, why you're using that access, like the why behind everyone from kindergarten on. It's like, okay, we want to know the why. Okay, don't fight with your brother. Why? Eat, you finish your dinner. Why? Okay, do your homework. Why?
yeah,
It's like the bow hunter wants to know the why behind. Otherwise,
that's
it's like it's
true.
entertaining but not educational. It's like you have to pull back and expose all those layers so that the person um, really has a takeaway that they can use to benefit for their upcoming season. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that you really like to challenge yourself. Do you feel like belonging to a group of hunters who are putting together video content every single season, do you feel like that is something that puts a challenge on you that you just love it, or is it a little too stressful sometimes?
You know, it's funny how the days are long, but the months are short, and like time just went by quickly. I didn't have time to think about that last year because I was constantly on this animal
Mm,
and planning and preparing for the eventuality of the shot. And that sounds like you're like, but really, I mean, there's time to like stress about it, right? But I didn't. Yes, but not that much because I was so busy creating, B-roll content,
mm-hmm.
for the sponsors and telling a story and putting the food plots and hanging stands. And there's just so many moving parts that you don't have time really to worry about it. Um, yes, you could look at it like a quote job. You could
Sure.
look at it like, oh, it's like one more thing. Can I just go and enjoy hunt for the sake of hunting? Yes, but it won't be documented. So and it's one more thing. Now, if I would have said, let's say 2 years ago, I want to get into the hunting industry and film, it's probably just not going to happen. I think the reason why I don't even think about it, it's like it's subconscious at this point. Kind of like when you shoot your bow for 6 months, you don't think about your shooting form, your breathing, where your anchor point is. You don't remember taking a shot, even on a
Mm-hmm.
doe. When you get excited on that doe, you just shoot, right? Well, because I've been filming since I was in my teens, I'm 49. At this point, I always have my camcorder. I can set it up on my camera arm in like, I don't know, 40 seconds. And every one of my stands, I've got a camera base. I just have to pop in my fourth arrow, boom, I pop it in there, and I always have the camera arm. And I'm not thinking the fluid head's already attached.
Mm-hmm.
And is it one more thing to bring? Yeah, but I don't think about it, and so I don't have. I just enjoyed the season so much last year um, that I didn't really think about it and get like bothered or anxious or a couple times here and there, but that thought left as quickly as it came up. And again, they're awesome bunch of guys. And if you have questions or doubts about something, you can always bounce ideas off of other people that are accomplished as well. And it's like it puts your mind at ease too,
Mm-hmm.
because we're all kind of in the same boat. It was wonderful. It wasn't like this burden, if you will.
Yeah. And I guess, you make a great point. If you've been doing it for 30 years, you would have been burned out by now if you were going to get burned out.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly, exactly.
it's just how you hunt now.
Oh, this sucks, man.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm just
I
gonna
was just
hunt.
talking to somebody last on the last episode, Matt, and he was like, this new generation of hunter, the young kids that are getting into it today, social media and recording, that's hunting. Like there's a generation
Yeah.
of guys who are, our age and a
Oh yeah,
little
for
bit
sure.
older who are like fucking filming my hunt. What for? That's dumb. But then these new
Right.
kids, like that's hunting to them. It's all part of it.
Yeah. It didn't happen if it wasn't on camera.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
why I can't hunt because I don't have my camera. Like there's some young guys who probably feel that way, and it's just that's the new generation of hunting is filming is part of it. It's not just
Yeah.
going in the woods. And there's right or wrong. It's everybody's opinion, but I do
Yeah.
I do wish I had some hunts on film that I could go back and instead of just being up here, I wish I could watch them to
Well, there's a
rewatch them.
lot of my just from like summer scouting even
Yeah.
to like hunting season wasn't even open. I just love filming, you know, there's nothing better than like after a rain and like
Oh yeah.
early to mid-August, a bean field, like watching filming bucks. Am I not? Well, I'm hunting kind of. I'm
Yeah.
using the camera, and just for the sake of putting together content again to tell the different aspects of the story, because you have to have that anyway. But I've been doing that since I was like 14, 13, 14, 15 years of age because just for shits and giggles. I mean, I did it for myself. I didn't, there was no anticipation of being on a TV show. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think about that shit.
Yeah.
Not that I never thought it was never going to be a possibility, but I didn't care. I wasn't thinking with that mindset. I still, and this is the God's honest truth. Even though I'm doing that now, I kind of don't even think about it that way. Does that make sense? I mean, because
Yes.
I kind of always, I just love it so
It's a
much.
part of who
It
you
doesn't really
are.
even matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the truth. I mean, it is,
Yeah.
So
That's a really beautiful place to be.
yeah,
Where you're really, I can see it in your face. Like you're just you are genuinely happy with the way that you are doing everything you're doing. And it's not, you don't see like this pain or this struggle where you're trying to figure out who you are or what you're doing. You're like, you look genuinely happy with everything that you're doing. And that is infectious. And the world needs
well,
more of that, man.
yeah. Thanks. We've all seen. I know you've seen guys in the industry that uh, they're like big names, right? And they might have like they have a YouTube channel as well, and they're documented and they're awesome at telling a story. And there's so much to learn from these guys, right? But you can see, and you can fill in the blank here with guys, we'll just say guys that have been doing it for 25 plus years, right? And we know, and that pool is small, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see it today in their face, in their demeanor, in their attitude, that like, got to bring the camera gear, and, got to tell, got to bring the crew, got to get
Yeah.
that angle. Like it's a thing, but you can't stop because like that's their identity and that's their career. Everybody in the country knows who they are. They're famous, and that
Sure.
they're famous, right? They are, and it has become a thing for them. But like they can't stop because it's part of their fabric,
Yeah.
and we don't want them to stop because what they create is awesome content and it's entertaining. Dang it, it's
Yeah.
good, but you can tell it's
It eats at them a little bit.
so it does, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I hope if it does, if it gets to that point for me, I'll film my son, but I'm not gonna have a YouTube channel anymore. I won't film like for
Right.
TV shows and stuff. It'll be just for just the two of us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Who do you look up to
oh gosh, man. Well,
in
that's
life or hunting, whatever?
well, man, there's so many people in my life personally outside of hunting, but we'll just stick for hunting for now.
Okay.
Obviously Adam Hayes, he's on a whole other level, dude. I mean, just like I know he knows how good he is, but like he's just really, really good. I mean, how many people are shot 18, 19, whatever, Boone and Crockett with the bow for 200s. Um, he's at next level. Um, Bill Winke, down to earth, knowledgeable, humble, thinks outside the box, hardworking, consistent. Never met the guy. I'd love to meet him and hang out with him, have a cup of coffee or go out for a beer, or, like Bill Winke for sure. I've met Mark Drury a couple of times, just at different expos. Came out of the bathroom one time. Oh, there's Mark Drury. I'm like, damn it, I'm gonna walk up and we just start talking for like probably 5 minutes. What you see is what you get. Grew up watching him. He's top echelon. It would have been cool to meet Miles Keller, you know. Um, he's amazing. Yeah, probably Bill Winke's right up there,
Okay.
He's right up there, and Mark Drury, those guys,
The
and
thing
Adam.
about Adam that throws me is he's so humble. Like he's
He's
just
quiet.
very
He's
quiet.
quiet.
He's very matter of
Yes.
fact. He doesn't seem to get wound up.
Yeah.
Maybe he does, but he
He
doesn't
does
seem to
it.
get. I'm like, huh, this guy's a
Yeah.
quiet.
Your house is on fire, Adam.
It's like, all right.
Things happen. That's
Yeah,
that's a shame. Yeah. It's like, really? Your house is on fire.
yeah,
No, it's like when you've been doing as long as he has and you've proven yourself over and over and over, and it's almost like a knee jerk. It's a subconscious. You don't even think about it because you're that good. I guess it just takes a tremendous amount to get your blood pressure to go up.
That's a great
And
point.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. You also mentioned earlier that you don't love electronics and technology. Are you a trail camera guy?
I am. And I've I've only been using cell cameras the last 2 years. I've been using traditional cameras up until then. And I love cameras. It, with the cell cameras nowadays, there's we can talk about a little bit of that off camera if you want. But do I love the dopamine hit of like, ooh, what's on there right now? Yeah. Is it addictive? Can it get to the point where it can create a hunter who's complacent and reactive instead of proactive and forget his or her woodsmanship? Absolutely.
Yes.
Do I like them? Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
I don't rely on them to like determine where I hunt. I like to know what's on the property, and then I'll take it from there. It's like if I don't get another picture of, the drop time or the whatever buck I'm after, then that's fine. I'll wait for the conditions to be right and for the wind direction to be right, for the moon to be right, and then I'll go and kill the deer. But it's like I know a lot of people, and I'm sure you have too. They will make a decision to go or not based on what the camera has shown them in the last 24, to 72 hours. That is a huge mistake. Give an example. In 2024, I'm sitting on the north end of my Whitetail Institute turnip plot. I'm sitting there, perfect entrance and ingress and egress, winds in my face. After sunset, thermals are dropping and they're going down towards the hill where I came in, where I entered. Perfect. I mean, it's almost like cheating. It's one of those few stands. It's just like it's bulletproof by definition. I watched 4 deer over 150 that night on camera. I filmed them. And I have two cameras. I'm sorry, three cameras on the plot, two cameras on major bottlenecks that lead to the food plot. None of them showed up on front of those cameras. Now, if and not all of them are cell cameras because in that part of the farm, cell signal is spotty at best. It's the bluff, real hilly along the Kentucky River. And saying, man, I don't know if I should go or not. Wind direction's perfect. It's not cold, but it's cool. Wind direction is good. There's been daylight activity so far when I have had pictures, but like I did not go. I would not have filmed in real time 4 deer over 150 in the same sit. None of them passed in front of that sensor of any of those cameras. So
Yep.
I love them. I have them. Most I don't know how many hunters out there don't have them nowadays, right? But I don't exclusively rely on
Yeah.
them. It's a tool in your tackle box. That's
100%,
it.
man. I am at the point. I'm at a point now where at the home farm we use them just to see what bucks made it and or are new this year. And
Yep.
I will do boots on the ground scouting out of state a couple of times before I place a camera there, assuming I can get back. So yeah, I remember the days where I would take my camper to the campground and we would all be, me and two or three other buddies would be sleeping. We'd get up in the morning and we'd look at our phones and go, okay, what buck was on camera last night? And the hindsight being what it is, how short-sighted and late that philosophy is ridiculous. We would make our decisions where to sit based on where a deer walked in front of a camera 4 hours ago.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got a deer right here. It's a 168 point. Okay. And that deer I killed, gosh, a good almost 500 yards away from where I had the camera last. Okay. And where I sat was not the camera had it had nothing, almost nothing to do with that decision to go there. It's because of where the
Yep.
water was, where the does were. I mean, like that's where I killed the deer. But
Yep.
um, yeah, it just tells you what's on the property.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. Well, we are going to wrap this up, but is there anything you want to share with people about what Sean's got going on or what you got coming up or what you want people to know about you?
Sure. Just in the immediate short term, next month on July 11th, I'm giving a talk at Cabela's. I'm a Cabela's Pro staff member as well. Summer preparation for fall success. It's at the Lexington, Kentucky Cabela's. Again, July 11th at 11 a.m. So that's coming up. And you guys can check me out on maturewhitetailstrategies.com. That's my website. And our workshop is going on August 15th here on the home farm, right along the beautiful Kentucky River. So I said we'll have coffee and donuts in the morning. We'll have barbecue, catered barbecue for lunch. Whether there's 3 people that show up or 30 people, I'm going to do it anyway. So I just love doing that. But that'll be our next workshop coming up here.
And
So.
then, of course, you'll have something with Team 200 this year for people to
Yeah, in
enjoy.
about another, it's going to be either next month or probably in August it'll air, I'm guessing. I'll find out tonight. But mine's going to be the 4th episode. It's going to be the hunt for Coke Can, the 190-inch gross buck that I killed last year here in Kentucky. It was 91 degrees that day. It was early season. It was my 3rd sit. Made a great shot, and it's the biggest buck of my life. I'm really proud of that. The final product, I've seen it. It was phenomenal. So, guys, check that out on the Pursuit channel.
Is there a chance that you posted a picture of that shed next to a Coke can when you found it?
I think I did. Yeah, yeah,
It's weird how my brain works. Like, I can't remember what
yeah.
I had for lunch yesterday, but I feel like I remember that picture for some reason.
It's so funny. What is your kids' names? I don't know. I can go back 17 years and tell you about these trail cam pictures.
I can sing lyrics to every song
It's
of the 90s and to early 2000s emo music.
yeah, it's extreme detail. It's like, when was my son's birthday? Just wait a second. Where's my phone? It's so bad.
Are you going to be speaking at any Lone Wolf events this year? Any of the Mobile Hunters Expos, or I'm sorry, the road shows or whatever?
No, I just with I won't be able to for a lot of reasons. Half of which are directly to do with my family, just family stuff going on,
Sure.
and then in preparation, for the August 15th workshop, and then for filming,
Yeah.
just got to keep that storyline going, for the show. But yeah, just it won't work out this
It's
year.
okay. Just curious. I feel like you have probably some sage advice. Not that you're an old man, you're just a couple years older than me, but that you have a lot of experience. And if you could offer today's young hunters some sage advice, what would be the most valuable thing you could share with kids or young people today?
For hunting,
Yeah.
yeah. Just enjoy yourself. And this is counterintuitive, and this doesn't probably make a lot of sense to you guys listening to this, but enjoy the suck, embrace the suck, and enjoy the experiences, both good and bad. Some that you've created, some that happened to you, some that were circumstantial, but like they're all good. Even when they're not good, they're good. Even if they're bad, they're good because it's going to help shape and mold you into the individual and the hunter that you want to become. And you have to go through those pain points of learning, because mistakes and pain is a good thing. It's part of the learning process to make you a better hunter. That's what I would say.
That is not just hunting advice. That is life advice. And I appreciate that because that's what everybody needs to hear because it's very, very valuable. So, Sean, I appreciate your time today, my friend.
I appreciate yours.
Yeah, man. It was good to get to know you. I feel like we can do this again because, again, I would love to talk to you more. And I feel like people would get a tremendous amount of value from some homeopathic ideas and natural living and taking good care of
100%.
themselves. So I would be willing to put together some notes of some things we could probably do on that. I think it would offer people something. So if you'd be willing to do it, maybe we can do that again another time.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
man.
love it. It's 22 years in practice. Today is the 16th. On Thursday will be my 22nd year in practice. So
Holy
I love it.
smokes. Man, that's awesome. Well, thanks again, Sean. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We will get this out in just a couple days here for everybody, and we will talk to you all soon. Thanks.